Without a shadow of a doubt, this was definitely putting pressure on His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, Prince William, and more importantly, His Majesty the King. But guess who advised Harry to say this in the public domain? As ever, let me explain. Morning chums, nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you're keeping well, and thank you for supporting the recent by royal appointment. I'm glad that you enjoy those. I enjoy making them for you, obviously. You could see the other day though, the terrible weather it was over here in the United Kingdom. Doesn't matter where you go, you're thinking, where could we go now, And as you know, I like to be out and about. I'm not keen on being trapped inside a studio. I do enough of that, so it's lovely to be able to get out. But of course, there are days when everything's sort of blowing around and you're thinking, no, but we got there in the end, didn't we? That's all that matters. Absolutely. Can you hear the sirens? That's not for me, by the way, honestly. No. I know you can think that. You'd be thinking I'll be hoofed off. Anyway, nice to have your company. Welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Maybe they are coming for me. Yes, maybe. No, we're all right. They've moved on. Let's get back, of course, to your royal story of the day. Prince Harry decided to alert everybody to this bombshell, if you remember. Cast your mind back, of course, when His Majesty the King sadly announced that he had a health issue. And suddenly Harry jumped on a plane, all the dramatics letting the media know that he was coming back over here, almost like in a cape, Superman, to see what was going on. It wasn't required, it wasn't needed, and it was very embarrassing once again. This recent trip back for Harry was very embarrassing also. But what's really interesting is this, and I wanted to share this element that nobody else knows about, simply because, two things really. When Harry basically went back out there and said, well, next year I'm going to be focusing on my father. Well, people were perplexed behind the scenes over here because that conversation, apart from how are you, not so bad, fine, thanks, there was no great deep conversation about His Majesty's health. For obvious reasons, you wouldn't dare share those moments, would you? But what was interesting, I found, with this particular element was this. You see, Harry once again was advised to overshare in that particular interview by his wife, the cable TV actress Meghan Markle. She knows that this will get headlines and focusing back on them rather than this presidential visit. And the other side of the coin is truly this also. You see, what you're going to learn in the next couple of days and the next outing for their publicity is the fact that Harry and Meghan, alongside the children, would be open to a festive offer. Oh yes. And we're not talking about a stocking here, filled with chocolates, but an offer to spend Christmas with the monarch. Now, I don't know about you, but Christmas is a time of year when it can be very tricky, can't it, chums? You've got family members you haven't seen all year, suddenly they invade you, whip out your bonbons, eat everything, break your wishbone and then leave. And then suddenly you realise that you don't have truly that much in common with them. The royals are no different, Now, can you imagine Meghan Markle sitting around the Christmas table, truly breaking a wishbone alongside Catherine, the Princess of Wales, the Duchess of Edinburgh, the Duke of Edinburgh, and more importantly, the formidable, my royal favourite, Princess Anne? I'm not quite sure what will be breaking first, you know what I'm saying? But this is the story that they now want to perpetuate and put out there, because obviously Harry wants to go down this narrative of my father comes first, I'm going to make sure I'm there for him in the coming year. The same might be said, of course, for Meghan Markle, but she can't really be bothered about going to see her father, who's apparently relocated over to the Philippines. Even when he was like 2 hours down the road, she couldn't be bothered to see him. Now, according to a very well-placed source, this is truly what baffles His Majesty the King also. Because when you think about it, if Meghan was so authentic, if she really cared about showing up for people and being there, as she likes to point out on numerous interviews, whether she's sitting down with Bloomberg or Jamie Kern-Lima, that sort of thing, you get the picture. Well, the other side of the coin is, why don't you practice what you preach? Start at home. And as I told you recently, Prince William pointed that out to Prince Harry on one of their very last occasions of speaking. Why doesn't she reach out to her own father? Why is she so desperate to connect to our father? Well, I think we all know that, don't we? And that's the reason why apparently Meghan and her team will be spinning festive cheer in the media. Never, of course, ever likely to want to come and spend Christmas with the monarch or indeed extended family members. But good for publicity for her Christmas special, nonetheless. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.